Okay, hello, Andre Garcia here once again. I'm with the Growth Capital Company, and we handle we're our capital providers. We arrange capital. We work in residential, commercial, business, real estate investors. Um, so today I have a very interesting topic: how to buy apartment buildings with no money down, 100% financing for commercial real estate transactions. It's a little clickbaity because while it's 100% real and it is something that is possible, the likelihood that, I mean, you're not going to be able to turn around and just pick out whatever apartment building and buy it using this. Mainly because the seller really has to be on your side, you know? So it has to be, it would have to be, and you're going to hear the structure, which again, it makes sense. You can make logical sense out of it and why each party would do what they are doing in order to make this unlikely transaction work. But at the same time, one of your first thoughts, if you're you know uh, I don't know, one of your first thoughts may be, why the hell would anyone do that? But no matter, it's whatever party A and party B, whatever they agree to. That's the great thing about commercial transactions, and something that you have to keep in mind. You got to keep your creative juices alive. So some realistic scenarios where a structure like this may work. So, if you are very close with the commercial property owner, mother, brother, father, uncle, somebody that knows and trusts you, uh, could potentially work. If you are a wholesaler and you're working with commercial real estate, you could structure a negotiation, depending on how the conversation with that seller is going. You could make an offer, and if you make creative offers, as you are attempting to acquire real estate, or at least put properties in the contract, you could give a seller several alternatives, this being one of them. So like, hey, all cash offer, close 30 days or less, this is the number. A creative real estate structure where I can pay you more than what the property is worth today, would look like this. So you could make offers based on, you know, A or B, all cash right now, or a creative structure where we can sort of share in the gains of the property. In any case, all right. So it's really not that complicated. All right. You're gonna need a very flexible, creative lender on side A, which is something that we can bring to the table. With something that we can bring to the table. That's not a problem. Now, the what you're doing here is you're essentially using a hard money loan as a down payment for a seller financed transaction. Okay. Now, it's important that the property is generating income. It has to be an income producing property. If it's land that you're going to cut up and turn it into houses, no. If it's land that you're going to build an apartment building, that will eventually make millions upon millions of dollars, no. Currently making income right now, leases in place, property is generating revenue. It could be retail, it could be apartment, it could be really industrial. It really doesn't matter as long as it's generating income. It could be office, medical office, doesn't matter. But it has to be currently generating income. So essentially, hard money loan, very low LTV. Okay, the lower the LTV on the first mortgage, the better the chance that you're actually gonna be able to pull this off. All right, so let's say you're negotiating with a seller. The seller is open to hold a note. You can offer something like, look, I will give you 10, 15, 20%, 30% down. And that's going to come by way of a hard money loan first mortgage. And then you would carry back, the other 60, 70, 80%, 90%, whatever. You hold that as a note, but it's just going to be a very large second mortgage. Now that's where the tricky part is going to come in. A seller, you're probably going to find a lot of sellers that are willing to, carry some financing, but and if it's a second mortgage, like, carrying 5-10%, that might be something that is relatively common. But to have the seller hold back a majority of the value of a majority of the purchase price, and then have that be a second mortgage, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow. Even though, I don't know, I mean, it depends on what your intentions are and how, what the plan is for the property and how you plan to make that seller whole. You have to have your exit mapped out before you enter that transaction. This isn't, you have to operate above board and do the things that you're going to do, especially if a seller trusts you enough to do something like this, to give you a sort of sweetheart deal, an easy structure like this. Okay, so as far as an exit, it's easier to refinance a property than it is to purchase. Okay, so if you already hold title, so if you execute a structure like this, okay, and the property is cash flowing. Did I explain it completely? Yeah, I mean, it's not a really a difficult explanation. I might have lost track of thought, but again, low LTV first mortgage, high LTV with the seller carrying back the second. And you could just tell the seller, all right, so how much down do you want? I mean, like you could offer, all right, how about, I put 10% down, or you get 10% up front. You don't want to say down because you don't want to misrepresent what you're actually doing. But, I'll give you 10% cash. You'll get 10% of the purchase price in cash. And then I'll need a note for the second, and it has to be a second mortgage. I'm sure they'll be fine with it. No, but so that is how it's theoretically possible, and not unrealistic to get 100% financing on a commercial piece of real estate. Now, again, what you're going to want to focus on is the exit. Just because you own the property, I mean, things can go south in real estate. All right, unexpected things. What if the water system goes all Mississippi on two of the buildings and people have black water coming out? I mean, how are you going to resolve an issue like that? So you can't be broke and do things like this. You gotta have some reserves. You gotta be ready to, some things come up. Okay, so if it's easier to refinance than it is to purchase. So a structure like this, you're not going to be able to do it immediately, because once title passes, title has to season, or else they're going to be asking, all right, so what was the purchase price when you bought it? And they're going to ask this anyways. What was the purchase price when you bought it, and how much of your own money did you put down? A lot of lenders are gonna want to know how much skin you have in the game. How much of your own money have you injected into the project? So after, and every lender is gonna be a little bit different. After like a year, after you having that property, or you holding title to that property, for some lenders 6 months, for other lenders a year, for other lenders longer, but let's say a year, they're not gonna care how much money you put down. They're gonna see that I was like, all right, that's your property, you own it, and then you can refinance, take out the second lender, or take out the owner, for most, if not all, of his second mortgage. Okay, so again, you gotta get your lawyer involved in order for this to be structured properly. I'm just giving you a rough version of the idea that is absolutely real. And if you bring me a scenario, with a seller that's willing, it's a structure that, and this would be a fast money thing. So I mean, it would be, with an appropriate structure, is something that can close in 7 to 10 days. So it's something that can be that can close very, very quickly. But use caution, use these ideas responsibly, well, look, if most owners of apartment buildings they're not stupid individuals. Okay, so these guys, if they agree to something like this, I'm sure that they have a reason to, and we can rely on their own judgment to sort of decide who they want to get into bed with or whatever. Okay, very good. So that's it for today. Just found this to be an interesting topic. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to address anything. All right. Have a great one. Andre Garcia with the Growth Capital Company checking out.